Before you take another scoop of collagen, listen to this. In the next 20 minutes, you're going to hear why most collagen powders underdeliver, the hidden side effects that no one mentions, and a cleaner, science-driven alternative that actually supports your skin and your own collagen. If it sounds useful to you, tap follow and subscribe right now so you don't miss what's coming up next. In this episode, for anyone chasing glow, skin, nails, elasticity without junk fillers, hormone chaos, and empty marketing. You're going to get simple, actionable takeaways and a label reading checklist that you could actually use today. Now, joining us is Dia Schwarz. She's a neuroscience minded founder behind Newt. It's Newt.us. It's a brand focused on clean, filter free, cruelty conscious supplements. Now, Dia, in plain English, what's collagen and what must be present inside the body of for collagen to actually build and get used?
Hi, Stacey. First of all, happy to be back. I would really want to tell you a little bit about collagen, and I also want to tell because you were talking about the collagen we created, VeCoGlow, and it's less about the product for me. It's more about my history in that context. So my personal journey before we go into collagen, and it's very important because then you and the listener may get really the link to that. I was raised on a farm, and my grandfather was a butcher. So when I was 9 years old, I walked into the kitchen. I saw these giant steel pots boiling bones, hides, tendons. So he said, what's up there? And I said, Grandpa, what's that? And he's like, oh, it's a soup. It's good for you. It's good for your joints, for your skin. And like I realized that it could not be, nourishment. It's trauma in a pot. I really called it the soup of cruel. And yeah, those pots just were not proteins. They were stressed hormones and adrenaline. And because I saw what happened to the animals, right? So coming back to your questions, when you look at collagen powders today, they're wrapped in glittery packaging and with words like glow or anti-aging. I really realized nothing has changed. And that's why we created VeCoGlow, a vegetarian collagen. And in fact, it's worse now because those powders, they don't just contain animal collagen. Most of them hide antibiotics from factory farmed animals, hormones like estrogen and cortisol. They hide sugars, they hide artificial sweeteners, they of course, spike your insulin, and they hide a lot of cheap fillers and coloring agents that really do stress your liver. And I don't know if you've tried collagen, Stacey, in the past yourself. I mean, we can all imagine how this kind of bones, tendons, these kind of things, how they would taste, right? And how they would smell. So you need to add a lot of stuff in order to make it drinkable, and people would not just vomit and throw it away. So it's just, there's a science when you ingest these products, and that's why I want to say that before I go into the story what collagen actually is, because it's important to understand that beforehand. When you ingest these kind of products, these common collagen products, your gut absorbs the peptides and the resides, and they enter your bloodstream, and they combine to hormone receptors, stress your pancreas, disrupt your microbiome, and yeah, of course, overload your detox system. And instead of supporting your body, you're quietly really adding kind of stress. And many of you might be thinking now, hey, it's just a tiny amount, it's just a little bit, and it's just a little bit of that, a little bit of this. That can't matter. Okay, listen now, please. How can that not matter? Does anybody know out there how exactly microdosing and homeopathy works? You know that, Stacey, right? You know how homeopathy and microdosing works. The
Mhm.
body's memory and immune system respond to even ultra low doses. So those practices, that's intentional. But here, you don't want your body to remember that. You remember contaminants, developing unnecessary immune response, triggering sensitives at the level of your hormones. We just had this in our podcast about menopause. It's just unnecessary. And then even worse, encouraging patterns like antibiotic resistance. That's really bad. And yes, these tiny amounts make this difference. That's why sometimes newborns or have a pattern of antibiotic resistance because microdosing, that's the good and the bad news for everybody listening, and homeopathy works both ways, right? It
Yeah.
works both ways. Let's be clear, that isn't beauty, that isn't radiance. It's just dosing your body with toxins and trauma and really wrapped into kind of whatever pink or pretty jar, prettier jars. And now I
Mm.
really want to answer your question, because I'm sure the audience wants to understand what collagen is actually
Yeah.
and yeah, where it comes from. So let's try to break it down. Collagen is one of the most abundant protein in our body. So you may want to think of it as a scaffolding. It what holds your skin firm and cushions your joints and strengthens your bones and even maintains your gut lining. And that's why we said, oh, are you taking your collagen? Yeah, because you want to look glow and plump, and it's for the firmness of the skin. But on the other hand, as well, it's really, really relevant for your joints and for your bones as well. And we have not three, sorry, we have five different types of collagen, which is very interesting too. So whenever you purchase your collagen product, you want to make sure that you understand or know what kind of type of collagen you want to purchase. Because if you're after, just a glow, or if you're after strengthening your skin, you should not take type 3, for example. So let's go through them one by one if you want to. There's type 1. We have the skin, bones, and the tendons, which is, it's very supportive. If you buy collagen type 1, for collagen type 2, it's cartilage. For type 3, it's skin, muscles, in blood vessels. And type 4 and 5, it's connective tissues and joints as well. So you really want to make sure you have knowledge about that before you buy your collagen product. And collagen generally, because you asked me where is that built from, it's built from amino acids. So
Mhm.
a little bit science behind that, but it's maybe interesting. It's glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. So your fibroblast cells literally weave these tiny amino acids into triple helix fibers, and that's what makes your skin and your joints and your bones tight and nice. But there's a critical part as well, that weaving process. And now listen, that only works if certain enzymes are activated. And those enzymes require what? Vitamin C as a cofactor. So, when you buy a collagen and forget about all this animal stuff we talked before or the side effects, generally, if you buy a collagen without a vitamin C or without any enzymes who would activate it, it's useless. Your body can, not integrate it properly. And you may have heard about, that people, when they have not enough vitamin C in their body or vitamin C deficiency, they literally, yeah, they lose their teeth, their skin bruises easily, or simply wounds don't heal. It's not because their body has forgotten to build collagen. It's just because they can't build it without vitamin C. So it's very important when you buy your collagen that you really make sure that it works with your ecosystem, and that's why most collagen products fail people. Very important to know.
Wow. We had this discussion, I think, one time, and I was
Mm.
totally I didn't know personally that you couldn't activate the collagen without the vitamin C. So
No.
that was
Mm.
great information. I guarantee you a lot of listeners don't know either. I guarantee you a lot of people don't know these little things.
Mhm.
Now you warn about residues and fillers. What should we watch for on a label? Are there certain
Mm.
types of artificial sweeteners or certain types of things in the
Mm.
label that are, dangerous, but we don't really know about them?
Mm. So yeah, actually this is the dark side of the collagen generally. So let's try to break it down because there are several categories, and sometimes I need to be a little need to like go a little more into the science that it's well understood, because all this marketing language with all these fancy words, then you sometimes you don't read, yeah, that's the marketing. You don't even understand what you're
Yeah,
taking. It sounds good, but actually it's harmful. So
it
let's
sounds,
break it down. We spoke about antibiotics, right? I mean,
yeah,
factory farmed animals are given antibiotics daily because it's needed. They have a lot of issues with bacteria, with virus, with a lot of things that they have to give certain kind of medication to the animals. So in every factory farmed animal, unless it's organic, they give an antibiotics daily. So all these traces, they end up in collagen powders, not only in collagen powders, they also end up in other supplements, but we're talking about collagen today. So once ingested, these resides, they disrupt your gut microbiome, and they are killing the good bacteria in it, and they do contribute to global antibiotic resistance. That's why some people notice bloating or gut issues after taking collagen, and even worse, very bad side effects is a leaky gut from women who really try to buy very expensive collagen products, and they end up with an antibiotic resistance and the leaky gut. Congratulations, it's a disaster. So one of it is antibiotics. We have to take that and seriously and face it. And the second one, Stacey's our favorite topic is hormones. I mean,
yeah,
you know, it's of course they feed the animals with hormones because they have to grow fast. That's the industry. And in this product, it's not only a microdosage of it, it's a proper dosage. Look at it. It's by far more than you would do in microdosing or homeopathy. It's actually taking scoops, spoons, whatever, kind of a lot of a proper portion every day.
yeah,
So you're on top taking estrogen, cortisol, growth hormones. That all this is present in animal byproducts, and when you ingest them, they do interact with your hormone receptors, and
yeah,
that's simple math. That of course can trigger irregular cycles or heavy menopause symptoms. I want to make a very educated guess here. I would say in the US, minimum 20 to 30% of the heavy menopause symptoms are freaking linked to this collagen products. Not all of them are bad, don't get me wrong, but many of them are not only bad, they are awful and they are harmful, and that is dangerous. So, PMS, just spoken about, feels worse, mood swings, and yeah, and women, but also men, they're unknowingly feeling hormonal chaos, within their just taking their beauty powder. The third one is, and that's something which you really have to take seriously because it's a common disease almost in America as well, as the insulin issue, is a diabetes issue. So certain collagen peptides, they really can raise your insulin levels like this. For someone insulin resistant or pre-diabetic, that means definitely blood sugar swings and fatigue, of course, as well. And even progression towards type 2 diabetes. And that's also unfortunately simple math. It's not Dia's fairy tale podcast today. It's just simple math. Imagine drinking something for glow and ending up with metabolic stress. Not
yeah,
cool. We're not done. We haven't spoken about artificial fillers and sweeteners and colors. Of course, Stacey, why do we need sweeteners and colors and fillers? Do you want to see the real color of bones? And I don't want to repeat that all the time. Do you want to see that? And we're having your collagen powder in front of you in the morning, having it with
yeah,
your nice latte whatsoever. You want to smell it? Anybody listening out there ever smelled? I mean, I said it at the beginning. My grandfather was a butcher, and he was a butcher, I think. Sorry, my bad English. He was a great person, and we treated those animals well. But smelling that,
yeah,
wow. And I'm not Peter, right? I'm not talking about, oh, this is all bad, and you cannot do it from an ethical perspective. I don't want to do it from an ethical perspective, but if you want to do it, please make sure buy a proper product and
yeah,
make sure that it's not completely. fucked up with these terrible sweeteners, artificial fillers, and colors. And it's just not, instead of building collagen, your body is busy fighting off the junk. And
Yeah.
I was with a friend of mine. We had a detox weekend. We said we're not going to drink, we're going to swim, we make a lot of sports. And she was having collagen in the morning and in the evening. And I was turning the label while she was in the bathroom, and I was like in shock. I was like, "Hey, babe, you can really have not glasses, 2 bottles of wine, and your body has an easier detox process than just, eating that crap or drinking that crap." And it's just,
Yeah.
people are not, they don't know what is it about. So it's not on purpose. It's just a lack of knowledge. And last but not least, yeah, also common sense. It's heavy metals,
Yeah.
bones and types. It's a storage for toxins. We all know that. So poorly sourced collagens have tested multiple times, and there's hundreds of studies out there positive for lead, arsenic, mercury. These accumulate in your mitochondria, the power plant of your cells, leading to fatigue and what, Stacey? To accelerated aging. Again, congratulations. That's not what you want when you take your collagen powders, right? Bloating, breakouts, unpredictable cycles, hot flashes, joint stiffness. I just read the last study, even brain fog, fatigue, chronic inflammation. Most of the time, the collagen is the trigger for that. Sorry, that was a long answer, but it's not easy. Let's break it down very easily. Antibiotics, hormones, insulin spikes, fillers, sweeteners, colors, and of course, heavy metals. That's what you want to look into.
Yeah, it drives me nuts because people don't realize, especially when it looks nice and pretty, all those colors, those dyes,
Mm.
all the things they put in it to make it look so pretty. Not only is it destroying your body, but it could raise your cancer rate up, the
Yeah.
like those colors that they put in, those dyes, lead to cancer. There's been many scientific evidence that has shown
Yes.
that.
Thank you for saying that, Stacey, because I felt like, maybe too many people will be like, this lady is crazy. I'm not, actually, it's true. It's really true. The problem, it's shocking, because yeah, no one is talking about it. We
Yeah.
really we like to pretend that we just don't know things. But
Hmm.
then we complaining because we have all these bad side effects. And yes,
Yeah.
one side effect is cancer. And it's not that, oh, the collagen makes the cancer. No, it's we're adding up things, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, yeah, you end up with a very, very bad problem. And it's just such a multi-billion-dollar business, this nice,
Yeah.
pretty jars, the glow up slogans, the influencers with the flawless skin, and they're just selling an illusion. The best was like last time I had a vegan influencer promoting a collagen powder, and she literally had just no clue what she would talk about. And it's yeah, I think the awareness isn't there, and it's just the industry is too big, and there's too much money behind it, and that's why, nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
And you're not biohacking if you do that. You're really dosing trauma
Yes.
whatsoever in many
Right.
in many ways.
Yeah. And that's why so many people have so many problems and their bodies are reacting the way they're doing, because of all the different components, those artificial sweeteners, those
Yeah,
dyes, those hormones, those antibiotics, our body wasn't meant for those things. And it's
true.
really, after a while when it builds up in your body, your body doesn't know how to break it down, so your body stores it. And then that's when you start seeing problems and your body starts changing and you're wondering why. Well, it's because of these things right here.
Yeah, awful, and I see, girls saving money to buy and ladies and friends of mine saving money to buy good products, and applies for many supplements. We have discussed it at length, but especially in that context when it's really harming you, then it's getting awful. It's
Yeah.
not
Uh-huh.
funny. And
Yeah.
they were laughing about me when I started and they being the industry and partners, and they were like, "What are you trying to do? What? A vegetarian collagen? What? No, this will never work," and so on and so forth. And we started like almost 8 years ago when we created VeCoGlow, and first for me was the idea that it's, all these great vegan and vegetarian products are out there, and we all know that peas have even more proteins than steak, for example. So it's not, you can't justify just, oh, I need my proteins. That's why I need to eat my meat. This is over. And when this whole trend started, which I was really celebrating for several reasons, and not only for the animals. It's really, that's one part. But the other part is when we discussed it now at length for the reasons that this collagen, the way it is produced, and mostly, not all of them, but mostly sold, is dangerous. And when we, I wanted to prove that beauty, glow, and longevity can be powerful without pain and suffering, and not only from the animals, humans as well. And I was so happy when I we were finally done with the product, and a lot of testing, and we invested a lot of money. And you know what happened, Stacey? Literally, and I have this on my social, literally 2 days later, and we were just in Vegas, we're launching Nude. The proof came from a double-blind placebo trial, a double-blind study, but placebo trial controlled, that confirmed that eggshell membrane collagen was shown to be equal for more effective than bovine, the collagen from animals.
Yeah,
So that was great for us, and
yeah,
I was so excited about that. And we will share, by the way, we should share the link of the study so our
yeah.
listener can read it. It's super interesting. And yeah, so pretty much in a nutshell, eggshell membrane collagen is cruelty free. There is no slaughterhouse waste. It's just the membrane between shell and yolk. And yeah, it naturally contains this type of collagen 1, 4, and 5 naturally. And it's rich in elastin and keratin and in hyaluronic acid. And that is just perfect because you don't harm your body by taking that. And I loved it as well. It doesn't smell bad. No, no, it's cruelty free, and for sure, and we haven't heard anything different. There is no side effects. And the most important thing, and you just said that you didn't know that it's important to add vitamin C. So what we decided to do, of course, we decided it was clear from the beginning because without the cofactors, and we discussed
Yeah.
that before in this broadcast, without vitamin C, without the cofactors, without the enzymes, your body can not activate or sustain it. So it's literally for the waistband. That's why we decided we add acerola vitamin C, which is from the acerola cherry. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's super cool because it's a very, very strong vitamin C, and it
Mm-hmm.
really sparks the collagen synthesis up
Wow.
to 8 times more powerful. And I love that. And then
Wow.
it's Bambusa cilia, of course, builds internal structure and resilience. And then the ceramides repair the skin barrier, and they lock into hydration. And it also works pretty well for the hair. That is important too. So and then mangosteen and wheat seed, and that is the point. They protect against inflammation, and they do balance the microbiome, not the other way around. And that for me is functional synergy. And again, I don't want to. I'm happy if somebody's interested in the product, but I really want to say that there is other options out there. And the moment we take the powerful decision to look into these things, and we take the powerful decision that we go the uncomfortable route of consciousness instead
Yeah.
of sitting the dull pain of consciousness for the rest of our freaking life. That's I want to celebrate you all because that's the moment we heal, right? And
Yeah.
we are aware what we take and also what not to take.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. Now, why are eggshell membrane and EMS versus bovine or marine? Like, what's unique about the EMS for elasticity and hydration?
So that is going to be very scientific now, but there's just a different way. It's a different way the body would absorb it in a
Okay.
very simple sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very accessible for the body. So, and the difference, the main difference actually is, as I said, it naturally contains type 1, 4, and 5. And if you look up your product at home, it always says, oh, it contains 1 or 4 or 5, but it naturally, excuse me, it naturally contains 1, 4, and 5. And
Yeah.
it's naturally rich in keratin and elastin and hyaluronic acid. This is not naturally if you have it, if you combine it to what you just said. You need to combine certain kinds of tides and yeah, bones, and you need to make a, it's awful to talk about it, but you literally need to make, as my grandfather said at the time, you need to make a soup and boil it. And then if you're lucky, you you get the thing out of it, but you have a lot of co-friends in there you maybe do not want to consume.
Yeah.
But that's
Right.
basically the difference. Hmm.
I see. I see. So you build VeCoGlow with activation plus protection in mind. Now, vitamin C and other botanicals, like how do these cofactors change real world results?
So, also in one sentence. And if you do not have these cofactors, your body is not able to activate the collagen in your body. It's not able to sustain it.
Oh,
It's not possible. And
right.
it's a very complex process. The body is very smart. You're taking
Yeah.
something, it's like when we talk about, let me give you a very simple example. When you eat a carrot, you think you get a lot of great vitamin A.
Yeah.
But if you don't take oil at the same time, your body cannot absorb it. How
Right.
simple is that? It's the same with collagen. Does that make sense?
Yes, it
Your
does.
body
It does.
can just simply not absorb it.
Right.
It's not possible.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's why you would need those cofactors. But Stacey, those cofactors, if you buy vitamin C and you add it to your product, it does what? It costs money. And especially when you decide to add acerola, as we did, for example, which is, as we
Right.
said, 8 times more powerful, it costs even more money. And that, yeah, why? I mean, people buy it without that.
Yeah.
Billion-dollar industry. They are happy to eat slaughterhouse or drink slaughterhouse waste and without any effect. And of course, they are not. It's awful. It's like very ironic, but I'm very desperate about that topic. And I'm so glad we can talk about it today. And I really want to prevent women of doing that. There is many other ways, but just be very aware of what you're taking every morning.
It is so shocking and it's infuriating actually why nobody is talking about this. You don't hear anybody, there are so many things about collagen, I know a lot about collagen, but there are so many things that you had mentioned today that I didn't know about collagen and we had talked
Yeah.
about previous times. It's kind of infuriating that people don't really talk about the things we really need to watch out for, what the marketing, how they make it look pretty,
Yeah.
what components we shouldn't have in our collagen and what ones we should have. You don't
Yeah.
really hear anything about that.
Yeah, and one more thing, and thank you for opening that door because we want to have a little more of a deep dive. When you before you asked me the question, you said, "Hey, Dia, can you just let me know what do we consume for free if we buy the normal collagen,
Yeah,
unless it's a different product there. It's not, there are different products out there. So, but actually, I forgot to talk about one thing. And that is very important. We all know about Reiki, or we all know about frequencies, and we all know about how powerful frequencies are. They're waking people
yeah,
up from coma, or it's immediately calming our nervous system. Just, listening. Lie on your dog's chest and listen to the boom, 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 boom of the heart,
yeah,
there are so many things, the frequencies, the sounds, the beats, the frequencies generally. Um, they can either stress you or they
hmm,
can relax you
yeah,
or they can empower you. And that's why it's also called, oh, this is, you felt like there was a frequency of fear inside the room. Yeah,
hmm,
but ladies, what do you think? What kind of frequency is in your collagen powder?
right,
I always like sometimes Stacey, I'm shaking my head. You're with all these kind of conscious women and men around you, and they're going to their yoga session, they're going to their Reiki session, they're doing their prayers, and they say, I still feel irritated and nervous. And yeah, because babe, you're hypersensitive, or you're just sensitive, you feeling the things, and then look into the products you're taking, look into and coming back again, the food
yeah,
you're eating, right? This is
Exactly.
the frequency you are consuming. And our body, we have to look at that holistically,
Yeah.
is really resonating with that, thankfully. If I would
Yeah.
start screaming now like a crazy idiot, let's see how many people would stay and listen to this podcast any longer. Why? Because it's the
Right.
frequency is awful. So
Hmm.
frequency is so relevant, and make sure you consume the right frequency. And of course, there's a frequency of trauma, there's a frequency of fear, there's a frequency of stress. But hey, there is also a frequency of happiness, nice
Yeah.
things, beautiful things. Just need to open up YouTube and check it out and see how many beautiful frequencies you can look into it,
Yeah.
especially for biohacking and glow and stress relief and so on and so forth. Just wanted to point that out too, because we were speaking about more about the hard facts, but there are
Yeah.
a lot of other facts you really would want to look into and consider before you have chosen your product.
Right. Now, with all that, what made you want to create, VeCoGlow?
Basically, all of that together, and we I discussed that before. I really wanted to make sure that um, there is a product out there which is made with integrity and respect to the planet and the animals we live on, and with respect to the humans who are taking it. Because my reality is, and we have talked enough about medical, scientific, personal, spiritual, whatsoever facts, why
Yeah.
this is relevant. But for me, in my very personal reality, and also in the reality of my team, whom I love and is really working with me and believing in this mission, in my reality, real glow, real beauty doesn't need to harm life to shine. It's
Yes.
just possible. You see what I mean? Does that sound
Oh, yeah.
weird? It's just
No.
get goosebumps now talking about it. For me, that's not possible. This is not
Right.
real beauty, you know. That's why I wanted to do that. And actually, yeah, and Stacey, the industry was loving about me. There is a young woman, I'm not young anymore, but there's a woman coming, a scientist coming from with this spiritual idea about, creating this vegetarian collagen. And then you know what happened? The moment we published it and the study came out, we immediately got flagged on Instagram. We immediately got flagged on Amazon. We immediately got flagged, and of course, everything is now back and it's great. But
Yeah.
it appears to me that some of the bigger play in the industry didn't like that too much, and
Right.
that's another thing nobody's talking about.
Yeah.
It's you have to be really brave and bold, and my team is, and I'm too mindful and bold, and we're really push for that. But what you face then is not always very nice because there are big players out there and they're very powerful.
Yes, they are. They are 100% powerful. And unfortunately, we can go
Yeah.
on for hours talking about that
Yes.
topic. It's just, it's all about the money then, and it is about the people.
Yeah.
And, we have people like you who are trying to make change. So I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing. This
Yeah.
has been a total wake-up call for our listeners holding collagen powders right now. What's your advice for them?
You know, as I said, Stacey, I believe glow isn't a filter. It's not a surface. Glow
Yeah,
is your nervous system feeling safe. It's your hormones balanced. It's your cells supported. It's your mitochondria firing and functioning. And I want to say that again. I'm not PETA. I'm not here to guilt people. It's like
right.
a scientific, but also spiritual and holistic view. I'm fighting for holistic health. So if you ask me about an advice, look at the label and look fillers, sugar, sweetness, whatever kind of sources, and just maybe make a few notes after that podcast about the things who are not written. You won't find, oh, it's full of hormones, oh, it's full of antibiotics. Oh no, they're for free. You get them for free as a nice add-on, right? So
Yeah,
just be conscious what you buy. So it doesn't feel right, it is not right. And
right.
second, remember, collagen isn't magic dust, right? It's science.
Yeah.
Your body needs cofactors, balance,
Yeah.
integrity. cofactors like vitamin C and so on and so forth. Without that and enzymes, you're not building collagen. You're
Right.
basically just stressing your system. Yeah.
Exactly.
Real glow doesn't come from trauma. It comes from wholeness and safety and integrity. And that's really my belief.
Oh, definitely. It's my belief also. Dia, thank you so much for being so honest and empowering in this conversation. And to our listeners, it isn't just about supplements, it's about integrity and it's about choosing health that truly supports you. So go check out VeCoGlow at newt.us and get inspired and rethink about what really is important to you and what beauty really means. We'll put the link also for the study so people could actually read about the study and see how powerful and
Yeah.
that there's science, it's based on, science and it's not just something that you pull out of the air. So today has been a great conversation. And, is there anything else that you'd like to add to our conversation before we go?
No, I don't want to. And I want to say thank you, Stacey, because you and your podcast and the you give the opportunity and the stage to talk about these uncomfortable things, which you feel like people don't want to hear, but they do want to hear.
They
And
do.
what I've seen so far and what I've realized, your podcast listeners and the great community you have is amazing. And the interactions and the questions we got. It's a beautiful community, and we're very proud to collaborate with you and yeah, we're very open and ready for more truth and more stories and yeah, just helping people to find their way back to themselves. That's what we are after. I want to thank you, actually. There's nothing else I want to add, and your team.
Oh, thank you so much. That means so much to me. And it's all about making a difference. And when it comes to, the beauty field, it's a billion-dollar business, and there are so many products out there that aren't healthy for you. And a lot of them don't work. A lot of them go in the body and they cause problems in our body and they cause issues, medical issues. And people don't even realize that even sometimes some of the creams that you put on your body goes right into your pores, into your bloodstream.
Yeah.
It's not just supplements, it's a lot of different things. And so people really have to learn to really understand what they're reading when they look at labels. And for people who don't look at labels, they need to start. So I'm glad that, you're not just selling a great product, but you're educating people at the same time. So thank you just for being you and for caring so much. And I really appreciate you and your team. And I thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, too. Speak soon, Stacey. Take care.
You too. You too. You have a great day.